Before we melt our candy coating, I wanted to discuss some terminology with you. I use two terms a lot, candy wafers and candy coating. Candy wafers are this in solid state. They're these discs that you can find in arts and crafts stores, in cake and candy supply stores. They come in different brands and many different colors. Candy coating is this in its liquid form. It's also referred to as candy melts or chocolate. This is very easy to work with. You don't need to temper them. They melt at a higher degree, similar to white chocolate, and they stay liquid and fluid for a lot longer before they harden. Just know that you cannot substitute regular chocolate at all for making cake pops. Only use products that specify they're for dipping. So when you melt these different brands, you get different textures. I wanted to show you two different brands that are melted, and I wanted to show that the consistency differs between each brand and each color. And I also want you to know that it doesn't matter, because with Paramount crystals, you can get these at a perfect consistency as well. Okay, let's get to melting our wafers. I have here some white wafers. White and dark brown melt the best. So you'll get them at the ideal consistency a lot faster. And we're gonna pop this in the microwave, and we are gonna microwave it for 1 minute at 50% power. Okay, so after a minute, we're going to remove the coating from the microwave, and we're gonna give it a quick stir. If you're using plastic, it may not seem like anything has happened yet, but you still wanna move the coating around to make sure that it doesn't get scorched on the bottom. We're gonna pop it back in the microwave for 30 seconds at 50% power, and we're gonna continue heating at 30-second bursts until it's completely melted. Okay, let's pull that out and see where we're at. Just gonna give it a quick stir. We are almost completely melted. I think we'll just have to pop it in there one more time for 30 seconds. Okay, let's remove this from the microwave. And I think we are good. And like I mentioned earlier, white and dark brown melt at a really nice consistency. Dark brown is actually really ideal for beginners. You don't need to thin it out at all. But for every other color, we've got Paramount crystals. And Paramount crystals is what we're gonna use to thin out candy coating. It has the same combination of oils that are found in the candy coating. It's the only product out there that won't compromise the integrity of your cake pops. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of this in. You're gonna wanna add a teaspoon at a time till you get to a good consistency. And a good consistency is a little bit thicker than a fresh can of paint. I'm just gonna eyeball this here and stir it in. Your coating is hot, so this should melt the Paramount crystals nicely and fairly quickly. See, already we've got nice, flowy candy coating. Do not use shortening or butter or oil at all, because your cake pops will not harden like they should. Once your candy coating is at the right consistency, you're just gonna want it to hang out at room temperature for about 5 minutes. Something I love to do is to make custom colors using existing colors. I don't like using dyes. I think they alter the texture and they also alter the taste. So don't use them, but if you must, only use oil-based dyes. So I'm gonna be mixing some colors that we're gonna be using at a later lesson. This is the pink that we're gonna be using for the heart. It's gonna be a light pink. The exact ratio of pink to white you can find in your class materials. So what we do is we would want melted coating, and we're gonna always pour the darker color into the lighter color. So I'm just gonna do a little bit here and give it a stir. And see if this pink makes me happy. Which, yes, it's perfect. Blush pink. And I'm also gonna show you how to make the Hedgehog light tan color, which is a light chocolate brown color and white. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of this into the white. And again, you can find the exact ratio of the colors in your class materials. I'm going to give this a little stir. And I think that's a little bit too light, so I'm going to add a little bit more of this light brown, just a little bit, and give it another quick stir. And these two colors also happen to already be thinned out. You don't have to thin them out before you mix them. You can do it after mixing. And I am happy with this tan. One cool tip that I learned over the years is with the black coating. Black can be a little bit difficult to find in the stores. You can order it online, obviously, all the time. But a cool little trick is if you mix equal parts dark chocolate and navy blue, it will yield a nice slate, almost black, which is the color of this cake pop here. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to mix these two together so you can see how close to black this is. And there you have it, a nice slate color. And once you refrigerate this and it sets, it'll be almost a true black. The next step is to insert the sticks into our cake balls. I've got cake balls here that have been hanging out at room temperature for about 10 minutes now. And we're going to be using paper lollipop sticks, 6-inch sticks. They come in a variety of lengths, but today we'll be using these. This is a pretty standard size that you can find at any craft store or cake and candy decorating store. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this stick and dip it into our candy coating just about 1/3 of an inch. And I'm going to wipe a little bit of the excess off the side of the bowl here. And we're going to dip it directly underneath, about halfway into the cake ball. And we're going to do this for the other two. Super simple. And again, this glues the cake balls onto the stick. So when we finally dip, they won't fall and do any weird tricks on you. Okay, and these should set in a couple of minutes on their own. However, you could put them in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 minutes just to set that coating underneath before dipping them. We also want to make sure that if we're inserting the sticks into custom shapes, we want to find the center of gravity of that shape and place it in there. So we don't necessarily have to have it in the middle all the time. So take note of that. We're ready to dip. So the things that you'll need are a cake pop stand. If you're going to be doing this quite often, I highly suggest investing in a nice solid wood stand. However, you can also use a styrofoam block, but make sure you wrap it in plastic wrap just so the debris doesn't fall on your food items. And we'll also need toothpicks. Toothpicks are going to be your best friends. We're going to use them to pierce any air bubbles that you might have and also to help guide coating occasionally. Okay, so I've got my purple candy coating here that's at a good consistency. And we are going to dunk our cake pop in completely all the way. So we're going to submerge it until the coating meets the stick, and we're going to pull it straight up and out. We're going to give it a little wiggle jiggle to get this excess coating to drip off. And you can also use this motion like you're trying to get the last of the ketchup out of the bottle, but I like doing the little wiggles better. And we're going to turn it right side up. And we're going to grab a toothpick here and look for any air bubbles that we might find. And we're just going to gently pierce them and shake the cake pop just so the coating can even itself out once more. I've Got one up top here too. Okay. And if you notice it kind of dimpling or the coating pooling in one spot, just hold it upside down for another moment so that coating can go to the top of the cake pop, and when we turn it right side up, it'll even itself out completely. Okay. If you happen to have these cracks in your dough, that's totally okay. There's a way to fix that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a toothpick and dip it in the candy coating, and we're gonna fill this crack with the candy coating before we dip it. If we do not do this, you will most certainly get a crack in that spot. There's a fix for everything at this point. There's another one. These little ones are gonna get filled in. You really don't need to worry about those. Okay, and again, we're just gonna dunk it straight in till the coating meets the stick. Don't swirl it around or do anything weird, just down and straight up. Give it a wiggle. Turn it right side up and pierce the air bubbles. Now we want to pierce the air bubbles because these will also cause cracks. And we want to make this nice and smooth as possible. And when the coating dries evenly all the way around the cake pops, you won't have any of those issues with cracks or anything else funky happening to them. Now, temperature in your workstation is a very important bit of knowledge that you need to know. If you're working under a vent, that could cause cracks. If you've got a heater and air conditioner on one side and blowing onto your cake pops, you're going to get cracks. Your body heat and this can even play a role in a cold room that could cause cracks. So just be very aware of your surroundings and make sure that everything is nice as possible and the temperatures are all even. Or you'll get a nasty crack like this, and nobody wants that. So grab your Paramount crystals at either a candy supply store or you can order them online. Get your candy wafers and let's get dipping.